Hi guys, John the Firearms Instructor, and welcome back to our channel. I'm glad you're here. This morning we have a little bit of a surprise. We are going to do a basic pistol class with concealed carry with Miss Caitlin. Miss Caitlin has a little bit of experience shooting. She shot many times when she was younger. This is the first time she's going to be shooting in an indoor range, so it's a little bit different for you. But we're going to show Miss Caitlin this morning grip, stance, trigger control, sight picture, sight alignment, and get her under control of working the weapon. As I mentioned before to you guys, a man can muscle a gun and hold the gun shittily. I know shittily's not a word, but I like using it. And control it, where a woman has to control it with wrist and booty. And I'll explain that to you guys as well as Miss Caitlin today, and see what she does with the pistol. Now we have two pistols out for her. She did some research and found the Smith & Wesson EZ or the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. These are the two we're going to use today. Miss Caitlin, have you shot before? A little bit?
A little bit.
Little bit. All right. So you feel comfortable with a firearm?
Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. So building that confidence is just as much important as learning to shoot a pistol. So being comfortable with the gun, that's all training is about, guys. So right off the bat, we need to talk about what's your dominant hand.
My right hand.
Your right hand. Do you know your dominant eye?
My right eye, I think.
Let's test that, okay? Let's put our hands in a position and close it up, and bring that triangle, tighten it up, look right through there at that paper plate, and bring it back to your face. All right, that went to your right eye. Let's do it again. Oh, let's go to your left eye. You might be left eye down. Let's try that one more time. All right, let's do it. Let's close it up one more time. Get it really tight. Bring it back to your face. All right, you went to your right eye that time. Okay, so what that means more than anything else is the gun has to be over your dominant eye. This is one of the challenges most people do, because I want you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, bouncing on your knees, and this is when we talk about the booty out, okay? Mm-hmm. You're going to lean forward and put that weight on your toes, not on your heels. Think about shooting a pistol and rolling backwards because the recoil, right? So, since you're right-handed, this is what controls the weapon. In other words, if I'm going to put this Smith & Wesson Shield in your hand, I'm going to put it in your hand. You're going to put it into your hand, and it goes down your arm. What's very important, always make sure the gun goes down your arm, because if you have this gun towards your knuckle like that, you're already shooting at a different angle, okay? So let's make sure, this is the EZ now, so it has that backstrap safety, so you need to make sure you engage that. Do you feel that?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look at this grip right here, right off the bat, we have 3 fingers holding here, and 1 finger, your trigger finger being up there. So technically, if your trigger finger and your thumb are along for the ride. Now, we have our other hand, and we made this puzzle piece. All right, give me your other hand, and you're going to slide it right into there. I know I'm manipulating you a little bit for the camera to see that, but there is your grip. You have the 2 thumbs stacking on top of another. You have the 4 fingers here. These 4 fingers are where all your power comes from, and your 3 fingers are holding onto the weapon. This holds the weapon, that grips the weapon.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Now, come back here just a little bit. Bounce on your knees just a little bit, and lean forward. Now, when you lean forward, you've got to put this dot in those 2 dots. Do you see it?
Yep.
All right. Now, I'm going to put some pressure on the bottom of this gun, and I want you to stop me from bending your wrist. This is where most women make the mistake, is they loose wrist these guns. It's called limp wrist, and that causes the gun to move all over the place. So I'm going to apply pressure to the front of this. You stop me from bending your wrist. Oh, plenty of power, girlfriend. Plenty of power. So what I want you to do now, I want you to show you a little trick. This guy's right here is one of the biggest tips I can give a woman, shooters. I've already talked about her having her feet shoulder width apart, her booty's out a little bit, and she's leaning forward, getting her nose over her toes. But right here is the trick. All right? Caitlin, take this hand. Drive it out towards the target and pull back with this hand. Look how much more power that gave you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. That's what we need to do when we're shooting the weapon. Now, did you feel that come across your back when you were doing that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. It's not really the booty that's controlling the weapon. It's more the back muscles.
Okay.
Where our men have pecs, and our pecs are going to allow us to muscle out that gun, where you need to keep the gun level here. All right?
Okay.
Let's try that one more time. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's perfect, honey. All right, let's set a gun now. Now let's talk about trigger engagement. Now trigger engagement is one of those things that people tend to put the gun out in front of them. They're a tad bit nervous like you are today, and they want to get it over with, so they pull the trigger, right? Well, pulling the trigger is going to manipulate that gun down and to left maybe, right? Now think about if your dominant eye is your right eye, and you got the gun over your nose, you're already shooting to the left.
Yes.
So we need to marry the weapon and the eye together. So when you've got this gun out in front of you, you're going to actually bring that gun over your right eye as much as you can.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Now let's talk about where we're going to aim on the target. Now aiming on the target is one of those things where people think, if I were to take the gun and stick it right in the center of this paper plate, we would consider that the bullseye. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. But the challenge of the bullseye, let's just put this little black marker here. If I were to take the gun, any pistol, just check it, make sure it's unloaded again, and lay it right there. The barrel is here, the sights are here, and I take that and stick it right on the black dot. Look where my sights are.
Yes.
They're higher already, right? But there's a terminology we use called 6 o'clock hold. And what this does allows us to see our target as we aim. So you know about golf, right? A little bit?
A little bit.
Okay, but you know you got a golf ball.
Yep.
And you got a golf tee.
Yes.
The tee doesn't go on top of the golf ball. It goes at the bottom of the golf ball. And then the golf ball sits on top of the tee. That's sort of what we're trying to do here.
Okay.
We're going to take our sights, the 3 dots here, and line it up so it lays itself right out there, right underneath the black dot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So technically, when we want to think about aiming today, we want to think about aiming with 1/3 of the paper plate. So I can kind of lay that out for you. You want to stay up in this area right here with the gun, and that'll put you right where you need to be.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So we talked about grip, we talked about stance, we talked about trigger control. Now, it's about the tip of the finger, honey, not the crease. The more finger you put in this gun, the more you're going to pull it off to the side, okay?
Okay.
So our right hand holds the weapon, our left hand controls the weapon. You got me?
Yes.
All right. The cool thing about a semi-automatic pistol is no matter which manufacturer it is, it all has the same features. There's a slide, right? It slides back and forth. What does this do? That puts a round in the chamber, or it takes a round out of the chamber, okay? So we got this here. We have the magazine. Now the EZs, guys, they actually have an easy loader. So you just pull the lever down, and they just load rounds in. So, Miss Caitlin, you're going to take this magazine.
Okay.
You're going to pull down with your 2 fingers and stick this round right in there like that.
Okay.
Can you put 4 more in for me, please?
Sure.
Probably one of the hardest things to teach a student is loading a magazine. She's loading the EZ, Smith & Wesson Easy Racket, Easy Loading. They do make loaders, ladies, so you don't have to worry about anything. Don't let loading a magazine or racking aside stand in your way. This EZ is easy for 2 reasons: easy racking and easy loading. It's a perfect semi-automatic for any woman, whether you're 16 or 94. I had a 94-year-old woman in here last week. She bought the same gun. Runs it fine. It's a good piece. All right. We comfortable?
Yes.
So I need you to breathe while we shoot, okay? A lot of people hold their breath because they're a little nervous. I'm going to be behind you, all right? My hands will be on your arms, just kind of holding you like that until you get your first couple shots then. Then my hand will go on your shoulder, and we will finish the shots with me stepping completely off. Okay?
Sounds good.
So always think about when you put the gun down or pick the gun up, you always want to pick it up like you want to fight with it. So you're going to pick it up all the way like that, okay? You never want a gap. That gap causes the gun to move. So you want to choke up as high as you can. You'll reach up here. Pretty simple. Bullets don't go towards you. They always go towards the target, okay? So let's go ahead. Let me put this target back out for us. Check with the cameraman. Make sure that's where it needs to be. Okay, cool. I got a thumbs up there. I got a thumbs up there, so we're good with that. All right. Can you pick the weapon up for me, Miss Caitlin?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to adjust you just a little bit here. We still got a little bit of gap there, so we want to kind of get it. There we go. Okay. Now, pick your magazine up. Find your hole. Now, this is the one place that you could hurt yourself if you had your skin really tight against this. You slam that magazine in. So I said open up your cup just a little bit.
Okay.
Slide that in. Beautiful. Did you hear that click?
Yes.
Did you feel that click?
I did.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about this. It tells you the magazine was engaged. You can always pull on it to verify it, all right? Now, turn the gun up. Reach up with your non-dominant hand, and we're going to rack the slide, sweetheart.
Okay.
All right, cool. Now, did you hear that?
Yes.
Now, next time we do this, you load that in. When you pull it back, I want you to let it go. This time it's fine. Now, on these Smith & Wesson EZs, guys, they have what's called a chamber indicator, which is right here. Miss Caitlin, can you run your finger across there? All right, see how that's raised? If there was not a bullet in this gun, that would be flat. That's a good safety feature for you. Now, there is a wall safety on here. It's not engaged at this point in time. You're going to slide your other hand in here. Going to bring this hand here. Give me your other hand. And you're going to slide it right in there. Thumbs touching thumbs and wrap in your hand. We have an engagement of 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to squeeze as hard as you can with this hand. And we're going to try to work on that red paper plate out there, okay? Do not move this finger until I tell you, please. All right? Let's get your feet shoulder width apart for me. Bouncing on your knees just a little bit. And with the tip of your finger, honey, slowly press the trigger. Good, Kate. Do it again. Slowly press the trigger. Slowly press the trigger. Line the sights back up. Line it back up one more time. Beautiful. Now, finger off the trigger. If you look right here, this gun stayed open. And why did it stay open?
I have no more.
You'd have no more bullets. It's empty. What is this telling you?
I need
Feed me. Remember? Feed me. What ends up happening, we need to get the magazine out of here. I'm going to teach you a way to do this. First thing we want to do is, it's at slide lock. This is called slide lock. You're going to bring the gun to your belly. You're going to look at the top of your magazine. Do you see a round in there?
No.
All right. You're going to look right here. Do you see a round in there?
No.
All right. I want you to take your thumb, your left thumb, and go ahead and push that magazine button right there. It'll fall right into your hand, and you're going to set the gun down and put the magazine down. How'd that feel?
Good. Very good.
Very nice. Let's pull the paper plate up here. Let's see how we did. All right, today's target, we got 3 in the paper plate and we pulled 2 down, okay? A lot of times what happens here is when I was watching you shoot, your 4th shot and your 5th shot, you were kind of loose grip. So we need to drive the whole time, okay?
Yes.
It's very hard for a woman or a man to drive the gun completely the whole time. Just cut it. So what I'll tell you to do is I want you to think about driving as you engage the trigger.
Okay.
That'll give you more power throughout the whole thing. You felt that across your back?
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when I see a student, a woman do this, I know you're holding the gun properly.
I feel it.
Because it's unusual It's not something you do on a regular basis. But that told me automatically when you were doing the shoulder roll that it was being done right. Miss Caitlin, will you put 5 more rounds in this gun for me, please? Guys, what tends to happen with students is you got to get yourself in a position. You got to get the system down. Once you get the system down, you just got to repeat it. Just got to repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. That's the one thing great about training is we go through systematic systems. Systematic systems. That's a tongue tire. And once you get that system done and control and do it every day or every time you come to the range, it gives you more control of the weapon. Your confidence starts here, and it just builds, guys. It builds, builds, builds. Because these are not deadly weapons. They are tools. They are tools that an operator needs to run. A tool needs a craftsman, and that's what you need to become. All right, Miss Caitlin, you ready to do it again, honey?
I am ready.
Let's go ahead and push this target back out. By the way, that's great shooting.
Okay.
Great shooting. You just want to concentrate. What we're looking at here, you say, well, I missed. Well, did you miss? Because the final triangle starts at the shoulders and goes to the groin. And all of them are level to where you need to be, right?
Yep.
Now, the paper plate is put up for our positioning, just to kind of give you an idea. I want you to really think this time, drive it out and slowly press the trigger. Don't pull it.
Okay.
All right? Let's get this back out in the spot here. All right, got thumbs up for the cameraman. All right, Miss Caitlin, go ahead and pick that gun up like you mean it. Beautiful. Pick that magazine like you mean it. Stick that magazine in the weapon. And go ahead and rack your slide, honey. Excellent. Did you hear that?
Yes.
That sounded better, didn't it?
Yep.
You didn't pussyfoot around with it, right? You didn't let it slide in itself. No. Guys, way to jam a gun is to hand feed it. Let the springs do the work. When you pull this back, you let it go like Miss Caitlin just did there. It even audibly sounded in the mics probably that round went in the gun. All right, Miss Caitlin, shoulder width apart. Bouncing on your knees just a little bit. Arms all the way out. Tip of your finger and slowly press that trigger, sweetheart. Good. Do it again. Good. Yes. Very nice. Awesome. Now, finger off the trigger. Use your left thumb. Get that magazine out of there. And set the gun down. Very nice. If you notice, if you had an opportunity, I hope you could see it through the camera, that weapon stayed level the whole time Miss Caitlin was shooting it. You did not hit any muzzle flip or muzzle rise. The muzzle flip and the muzzle rise takes you off that horizontal plane. Miss Caitlin, there is a horizontal plane we're trying to be on. That's putting the gun over your dominant eye right up here and then having the weapon over your dominant eye. That horizontal and vertical plane is a big deal. We've done videos on this before. This is going to be a great video for you guys that need to know how to shoot. This is going to be a great thing for most women that want to learn to shoot. Their significant other tries to teach them. It's better off going to an instructor that doesn't love you and it can teach you because it works a lot better for you. That was perfect. Now we're going to switch to the Smith & Wesson Shield.
Okay.
Now the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, it has a little different trigger than this one. The trigger on this one, it's going to come back to a solid wall. You're still going to do exactly what you've been doing. If you notice, Miss Caitlin is taking the trigger and slowly engaging it back. She is not pulling the trigger. But the moment you start pulling the trigger, you're going to manipulate the pistol, whether it be low and left or low and right, or whichever dominant eye you are. But this here, Miss Caitlin, when you engage this trigger back, it's going to stop heavy. There's going to be a wall. Anything past that wall, the weapon's going to fire.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I'm going to teach you a different magazine load on this because this here is a cheater bar. It makes it simple and easy, right?
Yeah.
Well, this one may be a little bit harder to load. But there is the cross method. Now, the guys, if you look through some of our videos, we have the cross method of loading on there as well. But the cross method, what it does, I'm going to try to pick it up and do it up here for you, is you're going to take the bullet, use your thumb as leverage, push down, and roll it in. Now, a lot easier to do this on a surface than it is trying to do it out here in your hand. Let me show you that one more time, Miss Caitlin. take it here, push down with your thumb, and roll it in, okay?
Okay.
Can you put 3 more in that for me?
Yes, I'll
to.
try.
You can do it. I got faith in you. I got faith in you. Yeah, the camera's rolling, so don't mess this up, right?
I know, I'm trying not to.
You're a real trooper, honey. You could have said no,
To put these in?
Yeah. All right, beautiful. All right.
Yep.
So right off the bat in shooting 101, that's the hardest thing to teach you, honey.
It is hard.
It is. It's not
hard.
easy, right?
Yeah.
Now they make a loader, right? But we won't let you use the loader until you know how to do this yourself, because you may not be somewhere where your loader is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you understand, guys, what this is. It's 13 rounds, right? Miss Caitlin put 5 in it. A little challenging to put 5 in these. This is called the base plate. This right here is called the follower. Up top here, the orange thing that was in here, and in the middle here is a spring. And every time you put a round on one of these, that spring gets tighter and tighter and tighter, doesn't it, Miss Caitlin? All right. Cool thing is, your grip doesn't change, your booty out doesn't change, everything here. The trigger on this is a little different. And that's like any pistol, whether it be a Glock, Smith, Taurus, Ruger. It's all which trigger feels the different to you. Because all pistols, like all vehicles, have tires, have rims, have windshield wipers. Most of the time, it's about the trigger. It's not even the name of the gun. Which trigger fits you and how you like it. All right?
All right.
So here we go. And we do have that 3-dot system again. We're going to pick the weapon up. Finger off the trigger, please. Make sure you're high choked. Excellent. Good. Now go ahead and pick your magazine up. We're going to listen for that click. Excellent. You heard it?
Yep.
You felt it?
I felt it.
All right. Now, I want you to reach up here, pull it back, and let it go. Excellent. That was good. Some Charlie's Angels shit going on there, girlfriend. You're too young for Charlie's Angels. All right. Slide it in here. Put this dot in the middle of those 2 dots. Let's go out there and find your black dot out there. 1/3 of the paper plate. Feet shoulder width apart. Bouncing on your knees just a little bit. And slowly press that back. Did you feel it stop at the wall? There we go.
Yes,
Do it
I did.
again. That was beautiful. Good shot. There we go. Feel that wall?
Yep.
There we go. Good. All right, that's 5. Finger off the trigger and get your mag out of there. Beautiful. Could you tell the difference of the 2 pistols?
I can, yeah.
Could you tell the difference of the triggers?
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Let's load 5 more in that magazine for me.
All right.
You know, the cool thing about being an instructor, I get to put the easy one in, the first one.
That's not cool.
Yeah, I know, but you got to do the hard one. All the next 4
Till you learn, I guess.
Next 4, yeah. Let's get these 5 shots done.
It does get harder.
It does, it does. Beautiful. All right, so now we're ready. Let's pick the weapon up, finger off the trigger. Let's go ahead and put the magazine in the weapon. We'll go ahead and rack your slide. Proper grip. Drive that gun towards the target. And slowly press the trigger. Good, Kate. That's beautiful. Good. 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 Awesome. Finger off the trigger. And get that mag out of there. See, the repetition's the same, just different pistols. I think what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to wrap up. And before we do, I want to show Miss Caitlin how to properly unload the semi-automatic pistol. We kind of know how to load now, right? We're going to take the magazines, take the magazine, put rounds in it, rack it in the slide, okay? Let's go ahead and put 5 rounds in the EZ again for me. And I'm going to have you go ahead and put that magazine in the gun. No, this one right here.
This one?
Yep. I'll make it easy for you. I can get you the easy
Thank
magazine.
you.
You know, we always talk about different terminologies or different acronyms that we try to give you, and what's important to understand that a gun in your home needs to be loaded to save your life. You can't wait to load it until you need it. Majority of the time people don't understand the sequence of unloading as much as they need to know the sequence of loading. So we have the concept right off the bat about loading. We take the magazine, we put rounds in it, we stick it in the gun, and we rack the slide. Will you do that for me, Miss Caitlin?
Yes.
You already loaded the magazine.
Yep.
Go ahead and pick the easy up, and then put the mag in. All right, and go ahead and rack your slide for me. Let's go ahead and set the gun down. Go ahead, just set down. Now you know and I know there's a round in that chamber, correct? So if I asked you to unload that, do you know? Do you think you know?
I have an idea.
Okay, tell me what you think.
I would take the mag out,
Okay,
and I know there's one in the chamber.
and you need to
You need to rack it.
rack it out, yep. So why don't you go ahead and pick the weapon up, finger off the trigger. Go ahead and get that magazine out. Now, we know and I know there's a round in the chamber because we watched you do it, but don't forget this has that chamber indicator that's raised, right? So will you do me a favor? Will you rack that and get that round out of there for me? Beautiful. Now rack it a few more times. That way you know it's completely empty. And go ahead and set the gun down. Well, Miss Caitlin passed that because a lot of people think they need to rack the slide to get the round out. But the life of the gun is the magazine. So if you leave the magazine in and you rack the slide, you put another one in there. And people go, oh, no one does that. Well, that's where all their accidental discharge comes from because people don't know the sequence of loading. So I'm going to give you an acronym. Ready? D-R-O-P. That spells drop, ladies and gentlemen. What's it stand for? Drop the magazine, rack the slide, open the slide, and physically check the weapon. Guys, this is a very small part of what we do here at the store, but it's a very important part of our store. We love having students like Caitlin come and shoot with us. We're proud of her for becoming her first line defense. This is something she's wanted to do for a long time. I will tell you more than anything else, you have an opportunity, find a great instructor, look at their 5-star reviews, get over there and make sure they specialize in women training. We're going to do a lot more women training videos. That's what I specialize in because it's so important that you guys know how to shoot the gun. Because if you look, most of the women are a lot more accurate. I know Miss Johnson's a lot more accurate than I ever will be now, and she outshoots me all the time. So if you'd like to do a class with us, we'd love to have you. If you can't get here, go to a great instructor. I'm glad you guys came. If you dig what we're doing, always don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and that bell icon. And every time we do a video, you'll be the first to know, okay? Let's say bye, Caitlin.
Bye.
Bye, guys.